morning, Kampala. Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, Africa and the world at large. Welcome back to Behold Africa, brought to you here live at Youths Media. I am your host, Jude Klein, and my co-host,
Now show Brenda. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, everybody watching us live there, wherever you are. Where did the rain get you? Actually, now my rain got me on the way coming to work, but we managed to get here early in the to show you, to bring you all these bulletins that we're going to bring in the Behold Africa. Behold Africa is brought to you by the Fundamental Human Rights and Protection, who say rights matter and they're there to protect them for you. For those who don't know Behold Africa, at Behold Africa we bring you the latest updates, news happening, be it in Uganda, Africa, all over, what's trending on the social media platforms. And also when you go in the world, we bring you all those stories. For the movie lovers, you get that section in the trending stories. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, be it Youths Media Facebook, Youths Media YouTube, and Youths Media Twitter and Instagram. But if it says, as you're watching, as you're enjoying the show, please share the link to your friends and others to also enjoy the good show that is happening early morning from 7 to 8:30.
That is very true. Now, for those of us who are here in Kampala specifically, you have seen the weather has, we have woken up to a very cold weather. It's still drizzling out there. Some parts of Kampala it's still raining. So if you haven't left your home already and you're planning on leaving, heading to work, if you're not driving, be sure to carry a raincoat or at least a waterproof jacket. Otherwise you'll reach wherever you're going when you're either soaked or very cold. So I advise you to at least carry a jacket or a sweater or something to keep you warm. The traffic, of course, as we know, usually if it rains, everybody pulls out their car and nobody wants to get wet. So be sure to find a lot of traffic or at least on most intersections, on most highways, at least here in Kampala, as we know.
And if you have a car, why do you even wait? It's your opportunity to use to go out of your bed and also move out of your house very early enough. Because if you wait for that moment when the rain reduces, my dear, you're going to hit the jam on the street and you'll reach late where you're going. So take advantage. If you have a car, use it to your advantage and move out actually and be on time at work.
And for us who use border?
For borders, you can always have the jumpers and the jackets. I would also have that story of somebody, if you know it's raining and you use a border, you can carry two clothes. Maybe clothes of work, and you just carry something that will help you till you reach your place of work. And when you reach work, you just change. Somebody even won't notice that you use that border.
That usually applies to you ladies. I don't know how it will be very applicable to a guy. Usually for us it's just commando style.
But now for guys,
you just dive into the rain and
you're good to go.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Clothes will dry on your body with gray. So it depends on how critical you are. But now for me, what I would do if I was using a border and it started raining heavily, I would just change clothes.
That is true. But at least have a contingency plan for when you're going to work. You don't want to reach work when you are soaked. Of course, you can't afford entering the office when you're dripping and your clothes are wet. So as Brenda has said, especially for us ladies who can, they say ladies' bag can carry a whole kitchen. But yes, in this, for instance, for today it will carry your entire, wardrobe. But yes, that is what is here in Kampala. So be on the lookout, be safe, and we are still in COVID. So be safe, wear fashionably at the same time, while avoiding being hit by the rain, for those of you who are using border, and so much more. But as usual, this is Behold Africa, and on Behold Africa, we bring you the latest trends, the latest stories that you will not source from anywhere else. As we start off the show, we dive into some interesting stories that are going in and around Uganda and Africa at large. Some of the stories that are going on, yesterday, Nile went a step ahead of many other breweries to, I would like to call it a publicity stunt, but at the same time giving back to the community. Now, of course, this, if you read in some of the news, they will tell you a fisherman found a treasure box
Okay.
in the River Nile, of course, which is near their brewery centers. And yes, they will tell you a fisherman found a treasure box, and do you know what was inside the treasure box?
What was inside? Because you told, when I looked at the box at the fire, I'm like, wow, this isn't this gold inside. Is it that jewelry or treasure, something?
So yes, the box was so well crafted, and we're going to be sharing some of these pictures with you as we go on. Yes, this box was so well crafted and engraved and all of that. It looked like a real treasure chest, you know, like from the pirate movies and so on. But the most interesting thing is what was inside was bottles of Nile. Now
that is interesting.
Yes, for those of you, for the residents of Ginger,
surprise gift.
Yeah, that was a surprise gift to the community, and at the same time, of course, has put Nile is in the news, and it's the buzz of the morning. And I saw another meme that after I think Uganda Rage season Nile, they're walking out of Uganda. Of course, this is not true, but it's just a meme.
As you're seeing that box, what would you think? What would, if any of you who is watching, like, what would be your instinct that will interest you, and like, what is inside? Huh?
Exactly.
What would be expectations?
Cause they even used a metal cutter to cut the box.
It was real sealed.
Yes, they even used the metal cutter, as you can see there. It was real sealed. You could think, okay, maybe it's a real treasure, some gold or something like that.
It was real treasure.
Oh yeah, treasure for those who enjoy that.
It reminds me. There are those people who share gifts with maybe your lover, anybody you love, and you package well. You have that box of an iPhone. Yeah, and you take
and
that.
Inside, what's
no, you keep that. As you're taking the gift, and they're expecting, of course, if you see a box of a brand new iPhone, you expect it's inside that, not knowing it's just a cover, a box. Now somebody will get excited. I saw a clip of like something really related to that, where like it really happened to a girl, where the boy was giving I think it was a girlfriend, a gift of a phone. Now the girl was very happy. When you call all over your girls to be around to look at what they have brought for you, opening the phone, the box, checking, expecting an iPhone, and you find the carburetor phone.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh my god! Now.
So I somehow feel like it's related, but for those who love the nail brewers, and for those who are disappointed in some way or the other, sorry, but there are those who are jubilating actually.
Exactly.
But it's a good stand for the nail brewers. It's really the creativity I'm looking at, and like
precisely, yeah. Like there was a lot of creativity put into this, and there was a lot of precision put into it. As they're still sharing the pictures with you, you can see the first picture they show is
and they got it from water.
Yes, they got it from water. So that's why.
How did they know it was in the water?
Well, it's a publicity stunt. So yes, these are actors, and they were told that very spot.
Okay. But like marketing it and they're selling it out.
Exactly.
But now the thing is, okay, I thought maybe it was something, maybe random fishermen and all that. Because if they're going to use this, and trust me, now people have seen this, they have learned. Next time they see a similar box, they know what to expect.
But yes, this is what Nile pulled off, and indeed it was a successful stunt, and it worked out in their favor. Of course, that just shows you how creative some of these companies can get to actually come back to the community and advertise their products. But at the same time, most of the time companies go out there and they're advertising, but they don't give back to the community. But most of the residents of that area actually manage to have a free drink,
well,
free of charge.
I would say the companies give back to the community in different ways. There are those who just go and do community work, you get. There are those who do the direct giving of the exact product that people are consuming. There are those who maybe will give a subsidy on the product itself. So it depends on how they also do it, on their criteria of promoting how they give back to the community. So it's just a difference, I would say. But most companies, and if you want to be successful, you will definitely have to go an extra mile and create such borders of maybe you give back to the community in such a way, you do community work, no matter the way of how you're doing it, as long as you're giving back to the community. Now that is what is happening in Uganda, and it was really interesting. At least we brought that to you. For those who didn't know, that is a treasure, and if you land on it, don't say we didn't tell you. But you never know, it may be gold inside, it may be a different jewelry. Now going to Tanzania, we all know Tanzania got their new president, like a female president. But since after the death of Magufuli,
yes.
so she came in and she was initially the vice president, but she was automatically put on position as the president of Tanzania. But before, in the past, there were some strict laws on the girl child and everything. Now in her claim, she came in and now she's changing things. She said now the new thing is, or the new information coming out there, all the teenage mothers, all people, teenage pregnant mothers who got pregnant at that tender age, they can now go back to school.
Well, that is good news for these teenagers, and at the same time it's good news for the communities that they live in and the country at large. We know most, like for example, if we take an instance of the pandemic, the lockdowns that have been happening in Africa and around the world, where most of the students were withdrawn from school, and in the process there were very, like for example here in Uganda, the numbers of teenage pregnancies were very high. So yes, these teenagers were not allowed to go back to school. This is for the case of Tanzania, but right now that has been lifted, that ban has been lifted, and they can attend school with no restrictions or no disturbances or isolation of any sort.
But what else could we expect from a lady?
Yeah, well, she's a lady. She has to fight for the girl child, and yes, that is what it should be about. You know, but
some of these girls give birth. There are some circumstances where you find yourself in that position or that situation, and you cannot get out of it, but you need support and not to be maybe to get that stigma in the community, but you need at least people to encourage you that no, this is not the end of the earth, and even if you give birth, you can always go back to school, which wasn't the same in the past. Now somebody to give birth will say that is the end of them, that is the end of their career or going to school, but now this is a new hope for them.
But at the same time, you look at this, it reminds me of before the girls actually started going to school. You realize back in the olden days, with the introduction of schooling, girls were meant to stay at home while the guys went to school. And yeah, this shows you how the woman, how powerful a lady can be also. So she's in power and fighting for the rights of her gender. But
we shouldn't forget that this has been a transition, not a one-off, whereby you just keep on improving day by day, improving the girls' rights and everything. So I would say step by step we shall all get there. And though what we shouldn't forget that however much we are promoting women emancipation, girls' power and all that, but we shouldn't leave out the boy child. Also the men, also they need the support on it.
You have heard it from Brenda. The boy child should not be left out as much as the girl child.
Going to South Africa, for those, yesterday we talked about South Africa, where the president of Kenya and South Africa, where then they were negotiating on how to bring out peace in the African countries. Now focusing on South Africa said no to renew of work permits of over 250,000 Zambians. That is a lot. Those are a lot of.
That is a very, very big number.
250,000 Zambians.
Yes.
Their work permits won't be renewed. South Africa said no to it.
You should keep in mind most of the Zimbabweans that live in South Africa are the businessmen. We have the doctors, nurses, and sorts, and that kind of those sectors occupy the biggest percentage of employees in most countries. And yes, South Africa has very, very Zimbabweans who are in these sectors. But as of yesterday, they released a report and said, come 1 year from now, their visas will be disbanded, and they will either have to go back home and get a different kind of visa so that they can come back to South Africa, or they will be deported.
Now I'm looking at how, now if you fail, that means you'll be deported.
Yes.
I'm looking at people losing. That is unemployment.
That is true.
Going to be created. Because I would say if they're out of 100, not all the 100 will come back or will go back and renew their what. It also going back, it costs me something. How about these people who have maybe been there and they've been there for a long time? maybe 10 years and all, they have not still gotten the citizenship. What will it do for such people? I believe they will just have maybe sat down, because there are those people who have taken long in the system, and these people are being productive to the country. So it's just a matter of also talking to them and negotiate on how best the country, because I believe maybe sometimes it's the best of the country where they say that, yeah, that the citizens are not getting enough jobs and all that, so they're trying to limit and create more job opportunities for the citizen. Yeah. But still, you also look at this who came on to do, because they also come in as they come in when they're experts in what they're doing.
That is true. That is true. We are going to be playing a video clip for you, but before we do that, you should know, like, every country has some sort of governance,
okay,
yeah, around who works there and who does what and when. Now, of course, as you have said, some people are going to be unemployed, yeah, but this is in a foreign country. Now, there is a reason, of course, behind everything that happens, and for this instance, it's the growing numbers in South Africa. Yeah, so there are a lot of unemployed South Africans, yeah, and some of these positions are being taken up by most foreigners. So
who employs the foreigners?
Of course, it's the government and the companies that are within that country. But at the same time, there is as I said, there is a reason behind almost everything. So they're trying to create some sort of employment gap for their own citizens as well. Now, but here is where the challenge is going to come from. We know very well in Zimbabwe, there is a lot that is happening after the death of their previous president. And the economy in Zimbabwe is very, very terrible.
Yeah.
A fun fact, the currency of Zimbabwe collapsed, and right now they are using the US dollar as the interim currency for the meantime. They even have a $1 million, a 1 million Zimbabwean money note. That just shows you how terrible the economy is and why nobody would want to work at home.
You know, when you're talking, you remember there is that, I would say, emoji you saw that when you want to buy something in Zimbabwe, you have to carry a bag of...
a wheelbarrow.
If you want to buy maybe bread, you need to carry a wheelbarrow. You need to move the wheelbarrow or a bag of money.
Yes.
Just to buy bread, I would say.
That is
how bad it is.
Yes, that is
but
true.
Jude, as you're explaining, I would say, at least sometimes you need to be fair on both parties. Now, okay, let me give you an example. What if also people in Zimbabwe also say, now this is what they're going to do? People in South Africa, or the South African people who are in the country, they're going to be demoted, or they also not be with their permit. You know, when you do tit-to-tat job, like, what you do to me, I also do it to you. So I believe this 250 people, they are a lot. You just have to sit down and see how best. Maybe you can do in phases. You get. Maybe you touch section by section. That is how. As you're touching section by section, even you'll give time for these people who have been in the system to maybe look for various opportunities. You get. But I would say, however much you're talking about 1 year, 1 year is still not enough. People plan ahead. I would say maybe my plan is to be in South Africa for the next 5 years or 10 years. And that is how long I would stay. But now I'm going to be forced to restrategize, which is not an easy thing.
Well, it's not an easy thing, but at the same time, well, you always have to have a plan B for when something fails. What are you going to do next? But with that, let us play for you the clip of an interview and some of the instances that are going on around this very topic. Here is a clip for you.
South Africa on Thursday said it will not renew temporary permits of around 250,000 Zimbabweans working in the country when their visa expire next month. The affected group were fleeing political and economic crisis at home and were granted 4-year work visas in 2009. The visas have been repeatedly extended, but the government announced there will be no further extension, opening the potential for a mass expulsion of workers. The workers have been given a year's grace to apply for alternative visas that may be applicable to individual situations. Zimbabweans are found across South Africa, working particularly in the hospitality, retail and service sectors. The Ramaphosa's government has in recent years been tightening its visa regulations and closing loopholes. According to the last population census, South Africa hosts more than 2.2 million foreigners, including political refugees, economic migrants and skilled expatriate workers.
Well, as is happening either in South Africa. And for those who don't know what's happening, that is at least 250,000 Zambians, their permits won't be renewed. They are advised to go back and maybe renew them at their own countries. If not, they will be deported back. And that is what we are being discussing now. Now we go into the newspaper. What is happening in the newspapers today? As usual, I showed the New Vision. I also have Bouquet that we just have to read for some few headlines. And in case you're interested, you just have to hit the streets and get a copy. So I have New Vision and Bouquet. Jude, you have?
I have Daily Monitor as usual, and as Brenda has said, we're going to be perusing through some of the headlines in these newspapers, and this is just to give you a little insight on what is happening in these newspapers. But we advise you to go on the streets and buy a copy of these newspapers because they're not very expensive. Actually, they're not expensive, they're cheap and affordable, so you can grab yourself a copy of this and read more details about the headlines that we're going to read to you, and more of that we might not touch, but you'll be able to cover them once you have the issue. Some of the headlines in Daily Monitor on the front page say Kamya investigates 200 government officials. Now you can read about this story. There are also job opportunities. So for those of you who are looking for there are job opportunities here in Daily Monitor. You can, this is one of the reasons why you should get the newspaper, why you should get the issue and actually read through it. Probably you could find something that is helpful for you. Still on the front page, we have lawyers ask husbands to pay wives monthly salary. This very one reminds me, there's a law in Islam that you're supposed to pay your wife for breastfeeding your baby. So yeah, this kind of reminds me of that, which lawyers ask husbands
but is
to
it
pay
bad?
them. I wouldn't say it's bad.
Especially for those who stay at home.
If there is money, I don't see the need why you shouldn't.
And the same story, I think they maybe borrowed that from our neighbors, Kenya, because also Kenya, they talked about that. They wanted to promote where all housewives should also be paid some certain amount by the husbands.
That is true.
Which is good because those people do a lot of work.
So we have IGG probes 200 government officials over grant. We also have lawyers ask husbands to pay wives monthly salary. Would you as a husband allow to pay your wife a monthly fee? It might not be expensive, it might be not very high, but you as a husband, this question goes out to those of us who are married. Would you pay your wife a monthly salary? I would like to hear some of the comments. I would like to hear some of the views from you as we read more to you. We have judiciary deploys 48 new magistrates, transfer 17. So this is in terms of course, our judiciary, where they have shuffled up in, a few magistrates and at the same time deployed more others. We have court block selection of Muhabura Bishop. You can read all of that. We were covering for you the story of Nile. Nile is also appearing here in Daily Monitor. So for those of you who enjoy, our president called it the body sanitizer, the internal sanitizer, you can read about this. Kenya orders introduction of land commission. Kenya orders introduction of land commission posts. You can read about this. Makerere suffers setback in fight for Mark suffers setback in fight for Katanga land.
I'm talking about Makerere. Today Makerere, the group president, is swearing in. And here, as Youth Media, I think we're going to show you that ceremony live. So you just stay tuned, don't miss, and don't blink. And tell also those campusers who are interested in the story and those who are wondering, can I get the ceremony? Just subscribe on Youth Media, follow us on all social media platforms. You'll get the story or the ceremony live here. Exactly.
We shall be covering it live here on Youth Media. So as I said, you don't find anything hotter than what we bring to you right here on Youth Media. Kampala landlords defend charging tenants in dollars. By the way, about this, I don't know if I second that idea of having to pay, let's say, rent in dollars. We have our own currency. Why would we start paying in dollars?
You don't second it.
I don't second that at all. Why should we pay in a different currency yet we have our very own? Yeah, I don't second that idea one bit, and I pray and hope that they will not pass this bill where tenants have to pay in dollars instead of Ugandan currency, because this is just promoting a different currency other than our very own. We have some other news here. We have adverts in here. Then we have Cassandra in drive to protect girls against sexual abuse. Of course, we have seen these cases become very rampant, especially in this COVID season, in this pandemic, and the lockdowns that we have had. In other news, we have lawlessness on Kampala city roads should be a cause for public outcry. Of course, this is in relationship to, like, you know, the dumping of several bags to scare the public, you know, into
The bomb
thinking,
scares.
into the bomb scares, as they have termed them. You know, we have had a number of these.
Even last, I would say within this week,
On Wednesday,
there was another bomb scare in town.
which is very ridiculous, and most of the time they always find, of course,
Clothes.
clothes, shoes, diapers. So this indeed should be an outcry from us all. Speaking of motivational speakers, you should look into this. And there is a lot more here in Daily Monitor, which I'm not going to go through all, because I would like you to get an issue for yourself and read many details about all the stories here in Daily Monitor. Brenda, what do you have for us in your papers?
Well, I'm holding not my papers. I'm holding New Vision. And New Vision is displaying here a picture. You look at it, I will show you a picture list. Now, but on the headline, we have NSSF prepares for midterm payment. We all know Parliament also came in and they were talking to the NSSF because of the COVID-19 that what happened. At least they should give people some money, no, half of their savings.
Yeah.
And the debate has been going on. Now, at least NSSF has come out and they're preparing for the midterm payment, which is good. Now, the picture which I was telling you on New Vision, hope they display that on your screens. You can look at it, where the Lango MPs reward government chief Whip Tayewa. They're giving him a goat here, which is really interesting when you look at the picture. Yeah, as you're seeing on your screens. At times you need to also do those. And also there is that China story. There is a story that is going on about China in relation to the
airport.
Yeah. That we are going to cover you more, but New Vision to give you free magazine about that. Now, in relation to the story of the China story, when you check the Kableta Twitter, he also tweeted and he said, "Why don't we just sell the Chinese our president? I wonder how much they would be willing to pay for him." This is in relation to what's going on, that Uganda wants to sell off their airport for cash.
Not necessarily for cash. You know how we have a lot of loans and grants here and there. So we surrendered, not necessarily selling it off, but using the airport as collateral. You know, when you're getting some sort of loan, you have to present collateral.
That? You don't. Why would you, all for all the things you have, all for all the assets you have,
Probably.
you give in the airport, the national airport,
So-
like in case you lose the bet and in case you fail to pay the money in the required time or frame or what, then they will take it. That means you don't have a national airport. You know how it sounds like, yeah, you have a national airport, but it's owned by the Chinese in Uganda.
Well, that is a debate, and it I want to say we wouldn't want to lose our airport.
Well,
but that's what's on board right here up to this very moment.
well, in New Vision is still bringing you a story about HIV. We all know January 1st they are going to be celebrating the World National HIV Day, and story has been going on. And also here on Youth Media, we shall bring a story about that. Now, when you go to also Museveni and Suluhu to hold talks in Tanzania, well, if you want to know more about what they're going to talk about, just check it. Health workers have a week to get vaccinated or lose their jobs.
Wow. Now this has become something serious.
This is something serious.
Especially when you're seeing so many riots going around in the European countries in relationship to this.
And also yesterday we read a story where the World Health Organization were calling upon every country at
to
least
make it mandatory.
Yeah, for everybody to be vaccinated in their country. So I believe that is the alarm. But it's up to you also as individuals. But don't forget, as you're going to be vaccinated, don't forget to follow the SOPs, because still COVID is real. That is a call that I will try to remind you, everybody. It will continue to be a strong note until maybe COVID goes away. Now, Museveni frustrated with the slow progress in the ending of FGM 2020 best judges named. Well, you want to know the list? The list is out here. You know any best judge you know about? Like, who was your best judge in 2020?
We shall find out.
No, on your side.
On my side?
Yeah.
I have a number.
Government accused of holding on to 69.5 billion from the land sale.
Wow.
That is the story. Your Vision has a lot of interesting story, but you can get a copy. I go into Bukedde as usual. Bukedde kuleetera amawulire mu lulimi lw'Oluganda. Tewali osobodde gasoma eri mu lulimi Oluzungu. Watu ogategedde bakwata olulimi Oluganda Bukedde weeri. So Bukedde kuleetera wano ekifaananyi kya lawyer egambye enfa ya lawyer ereese akasatiro otya osobola okwesomera bw'oba oyagala okumanya kigenda maaso. Basajja balaba kooti emufunzizza. Well, eggulire eryo Bukedde ekyalireese. Baserebu bongedde ebbugumu muki gabulula sekukulu. Sekukulu neetuuse oba toyetegese oba kakoko tonnaka eba yakuonye dda kubanga n'abagenyi abamu. Well, you know there are those visitors who come even if you don't call them.
For me, I don't want chicken for this festival season.
Why not?
I want something bigger. I want a turkey. You know? You
want a turkey?
I want a turkey.
You want to do Thanksgiving
exactly.
Turkey. You want
Instead
to go
in the place of chicken, I want a turkey. We do Thanksgiving instead.
Basajja balaba kooti emufunzize ekuleetedde wano story ye emufunzize ete oba oyagala kumanya ebimukwatako kwata kopi ya Bukedde. Funa byamukola ku ttaka lya kanisa. Kanisa eyogedde n'abantu babagambye because oba omanye ettaka oba tolikwe baba tebababbako ettaka. Lwaki ettaka tofuna bibulikolako? Muwala wa Sheikh Kirevu gwe baatadde alombojja byayiseemu. Well, hey, story naye mboozi mwagalo gimanyako. Family wa boda yafiiridde mu bbomu ezudde ebipya. Well, abagala okumanya Bukedde ekyalina amawulire mangi giramu ndaba waliwo ekyakwete yeteddeko n'ekifaananyi ebigenda maaso mu Ethiopia n'emboozi endala nnyingi. Osobola okwefunira kopiyo wano fe tubeerawo nnyo okuleetako amawulire at least headlines oba emitwe emikulu ebibeera mu mpapula z'amawulire. Naye kugenda nga not forgetting for those who are still on Behold Africa. This show is brought to you by the Fundamental Rights and Protection, who say your rights matter and they're there to protect them for you. And in case you need maybe to advertise with us, we call upon you.
Yes.
You don't and you're lucky that we're in the Christmas, you're going into the festival season where I have a discount for you. But now for those, now we leave you. Look at now, for example, for those who are looking for computer literacy training and everything, Moloza is telling you to please go to him. They have the computer training services. They offer the internet cafe. You want to do photocopying and everything. They're located there at Kasanalo Welo Mabanda, and you can get them on their telephone number, which is 0770707536. Let us go into a short commercial break. Coming up, don't forget and don't miss, don't even change it. Don't go anywhere. You're coming up with the trending stories, what is happening on the social media platforms.
Youth Media, the new era.
Youth Media, the new era. Youth Media, the new era.
Youth Media, the new era.
My name is Bukenya Rocky, and my dream is to become a physical engineer. So I follow Youth Media in order to pursue my dream. And I would encourage you to follow Youth Media on Facebook, Google, Twitter, in order to pursue also your dreams.
My name is Gita William, and I'm mu COVID. like tetusobola ku accessing amasomero ade like bataddewo ekitongole website yaffe eya UTC Media batukubiriza abazadde basindika like abaana baabwe basobola okufolowinga ku platform zaffe nga like Twitter, Facebook, IG, developing minds zaabwe various technical activities such as abaana basobola oyiga website designing, graphic designing n'ebirala nga tebagenze kusomero naye nga baliyigidde waka. So tukubiriza abazadde bagulira abaana baabwe data bagezeeko okukola subscribinga n'okufollowinga UTC Media bajja laba nga abaana bafuna ekintu obutuyaze okusomera.
Njeko basebo ne banyawo amanya gange itiba mugisha na nsimije nga ndi muyizo okuba ekitangala high school. Ndi wano okubategeeza nti nze nandiyagadde okubeera modo oba kazanyiriza oba actor ajjudde. Era ndi wano okubategeeza nti olwa corona twajiddwa ebintu bingi, tulumbiddwa ebintu bingi nga for example TV bakali bwe tuli abaana bangi ffenna tugikozesa tetusobola laba kye twagala at the same time. Kadi for example nze ndabya abamodo baganda bange bagala kyawe kati kyawe tubeera tugera kulwanira TV. Kyeneebaza kyenjaba bagamba nti olwa Youth Media omutimbagano omupya batukoleddeyo Youth Media tukoleddeyo website yaffe empya wetusobola okujjawo ekimu kye twetaaga. So nandiyagadde baganda bange abalala kati nga nze ngenda nembeera ku yamodo benjagala n'ebirala ebintu bye nandiyagadde okulaba. Era namwe mbakubiriza mugende namwe mugende mu Youth Media musobole okulaba kye mwagala ate ekisinga nabo ya ku masimu gammwe ku laptop byonna na gadget ze mulina.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. As you have seen, we are just going, we appreciate for those who go, even when we go in the break, they wait for us and they're like, we are waiting for the trending stories, we're waiting for the next segment. And for those who are watching us live, I can also read, I've seen to share with Lillian, who is appreciating. She says thanks for the show, guys. We really also appreciate for all those who are watching, and also thank you for watching. And please share more of your comments. We shall read them on the air. You're still on Behold Africa, and this section will bring you the trending stories. In the trending stories, you want to start, John? I know you're in hijack because when he wants to start, like, you'd believe that we have plenty of the trending stories and mostly exciting and something to make you laugh also.
No, most definitely. What Brenda is saying, as she has said, most of the stories here on Behold Africa, especially in the trending section, they are very, very hot. So they get some of us lit up the moment we start on this very section. I'm sure some of you agree with me on this very point. And with that, let us dive into some of the trending stories on social media and, which are circulating in social media and so much more. The story that I would like to bring to you first is about our singer and actress here in Uganda,
Helen Lukuma.
Yes, most definitely. For those of you who do not know Helen Lukuma, go into our description. Our
that lady who sang Olinye Yamaje? Yeah, that song is also hitting for her.
As you have heard, Brenda has the voice.
For me, if it comes to musicians, as long as I know that, I will sing for you at least a chorus to bring that vibe into your ears. I'm like, oh, that song, I know it. Yeah.
Most definitely. But yes, Helen came out yesterday and spoke about, her sexual experience and what she likes, to do with her husband. So she's a married lady, but at the same time came out with, during an interview and spoke about her sexual experiences and what she likes and doesn't like, and at the same time giving the youths and the young generation out there some tips here and there, and what you should do and not do, in the long run to stay healthy.
But when it comes to sex experience, it's always a unique experience, I would say.
Most
What
definitely.
works for you won't work for me.
That is very
It's
true.
not a one size fits all. So that is what she said, but it's up to you. But what caught my attention mostly, that 6-packs don't pay bills.
Which is very true.
So if you're out there and you just spend most of your time, especially the men, you spend all of your time, the 24 hours, and out of the 24 hours, I would say 12 hours is even less, or
Roughly 12 hours.
12 hours, you spend the 12 hours of your day in the gym. Okay, it may be your work and that is your work, I understand, but there are those who spend their work, let me go in the gym, hit it and look good for the ladies. Okay, hit it and go for the gym, but as long as you're making your money, spend time and make them die, which is okay. But if you're focusing more on making the 6-packs, you'll remain with your 6-packs, they will leave you, they will keep on it like, all girls are the same. That is the excuse you give, not knowing what you need to work on. Yeah, you need to work, 6-packs won't pay bills. That is very true.
Exactly, that is very true. And here is a funny scenario. I'm going to bring up this one here in a very interesting way. But as Brenda has said, 6-packs will not pay the bills, and at the same time, most of the time, 6-packs will not get you the girl. Take an example of the sugar daddies. How many sugar daddies have you noticed that have 6-packs?
They have 6-packs in their wallets.
Exactly.
That's
Brenda
why-
has brought out like that. Yeah, most sugar daddies,
I would call for 6-packs in the wallet.
and they always get the girl.
You can even go extra. There are 6-packs. You can make it 12 packs in the wallet. You can make it 100 packs in the wallet. No matter, as long as you go extra, but it's in the wallet. Okay, we also believe you need to look.
To look
Live,
good.
but balance the two, and not out. I don't want you to want to outweigh the other, because we all know money is the crucial thing. We need money in daily day and everything. So as you're looking good and making yourself to be healthy, you're going all the through. Please also emphasize to go an extra mile and work. For the youth out there, for the young generation out there, 6-packs won't pay the bills. You will keep on bringing that story that all girls are the same. But because of what you do, and you don't want to work, rather you want to work on, I would say looking good is only for the, focusing on the appearance and forgetting it's mostly for the girls, however much it crosses, but still, for the gentleman, 6-pack should be in the wallet. Now, not only share that, she also said that she, for if you are a child and you're watching, sorry for this, but she also says she enjoys sex in the night when the lights are off, though she's mostly if the kids are asleep.
So of course she's a married woman and she's a mother at the same time. You wouldn't want to put that, onto your children. So most of the time, she's right.
But some children are so disturbing. Are they? You know how kids are.
Well, yes, that is true. But that section you can catch up on it on our very, very topic that goes on, our very other section that goes on here on Youth Media, which talks about health and so many others, the health clinic. So do not miss out on some of these things. Brenda will elaborate most of them during that time, but as for here, we just bring you some of these stories.
Well, yeah, thanks for reminding me. Well, for those who are watching us on Youth Media, we don't only have Behold Africa, no. Earlier we told you we are going to bring you the ceremony that is happening in Makerere University live, and that is going to be shown on the campus. The campus it's a live show that goes on, especially in the universities and all that. It's also a youth show, but also it comes on where you also can watch, and it's interesting, by the way. It's hosted by Habib. There is a young guy called Habib. He has a nice vibe and you can catch it. And not only that, we also have Mama Mia. Mama Mia is also a nice show. You can match it up. We also have health clinic. We have more of these shows. We have Hawal coming up. We have the Dawa. Today is Friday. The Muslims, please stick on Youth Media. We have Dawa for you. More what can else? Just stick around. You'll see most of these shows coming up and you're like, oh. Now continuing with the trending stories, we go to the peer pounds. Pia Pounds gave you a story of how she emerged in the best artist of the year in nominees. She's among the best artists of the year. Now, not only that, I would say if well and good she wins the award, that was all another addition. I would say maybe she would have called this year like really higher also, because now she managed to graduate. She graduated at the International University of East Africa, and she got a degree in business administration.
Yes. Now, some of you might be wondering, because sometimes you listen to music and never know the artist's name. You just enjoy the vibe, you enjoy the jam, and never go to the lengths of finding out who the artist is. But yes, Pia Pounds is the lady who has given us the jam of 2021, Twende to Party. Now, it's a Friday, and that means it's a weekend, so indeed you're going to Twende to Party. And it is
I like how you say it. How do you say it? And today is a Friday, so whenever you say that, yeah, that is Twende to Party.
Most definitely. Friday goes with Twende to Party, yeah? So, yeah, but for those of you who did not know, Pia Pounds was still in school while she pursued her bachelor's in business administration, and at the same time, pursuing her dream in music. So, yes, some of us say you can't balance the two, but here is proof that you can be in school, be famous, and rock your country, rock the world at large, while you're still getting brains up here. So yes, most people be like, when I start my music career, that is it. When I blast off, I want to just focus there. But she has managed to show us that you can accomplish two goals, while doing the other. One thing and the other, multitaskers.
But I've seen that changing day by not in the early days where artists used to imagine their main focus was only music
and drop out.
Yeah. No, nowadays the times have changed, where we have seen musicians. Actually, you find a musician and you ask them, what did you study? Like, I did maybe engineering, maybe I did actual work and all that, computer science, and you're like, and you into music, and they're rocking it.
That is true.
That is how far we have gotten. Like, that's the level we are at. So you see some of the musicians singing, not knowing they're taking these courses serious. They're studying out there in the universities. I've also seen the likes of Spice Diana, who also got her a degree. Though for her, she told us she got 32. And we leave that to that. But now that is, as we encourage you, please go on, because you also books, however much you have the talent, but at times you also need the papers.
Yes, most times you still need the papers. Yes, talent is going to take you far, but books are going to take you even further. And you might even get more opportunities just because of your books. But moving away from Uganda for a while, let us go to Nigeria. I like us when we just move from one country to another. We go to Nigeria, where another trending story is happening, and creating some buzz on social media, where a coffin seller lost 2 coffins overnight. Now, these coffins were stolen. We are not going to identify the seller, but the video that emerged from this instance showed us him lamenting, like, hey, where did my coffins go? Now, begs me to ask the question, who would steal coffins? I know, yes, tragedies happen
they
here
steal
and
them,
there.
and you may not especially the thieves, they don't usually steal things for themselves. They steal to also sell them to others. So I believe those steal
it's actually a very good business. You know that?
So you would steal, and maybe you find a client. Maybe
ready market.
Yeah, there is that ready market. There are people who are looking. They lost someone. Sorry, and they are looking. They're going. Maybe they fail to raise the right amount of money to buy the right coffin, and you come here with a discounted coffin. Trust me, they will take it.
That is true.
Even that is like, even if they're selling coffin, it's also like any other business that it can be like, there can happen thieves, and like theft can also happen. But now in such businesses, how I'm like, what if you go and steal and you get stuck on the coffin? For example, like how we are in Uganda when we saw the thieves at Mawanda Road who tried to get into the pharmacy and they got stuck on the door. Now, Who goes to a coffin shop and they steal?
That is true. I still wonder who would steal a coffin. But we have a video that we're going to play for you of this young man lamenting and showing us how they broke into or what they used to break into his coffin shop and managed to steal 2 coffins from his shop. He comes back in the morning and he finds 2 of his coffins missing. But here is a clip for you as you enjoy with us.
Mimi America Sisimeka. I'm a real too, Papa. Profono is serious. Hey, you want me now?
That's my ponting for you. Fundaka Muni.
Yes, as you have seen in the video with us, you can see the young man lamenting like, hey, my coffins were here last night, but I can't find my coffins here. And of course, his neighbors, his friends are trying to, you know, comfort him and all that. But yeah, someone managed to break into a coffin shop and steal 2 coffins.
What I have advised him, let him go and report to the police.
That would be a long story. That would be a very long story. But well,
he gives a statement.
Yeah.
The size of the coffins, when, how, what color.
That would be a very, very interesting story. But while we are still in Central Africa, while we are still there, we go to we're still, I think, in Nigeria, where another story emerged of a pastor who married a second wife.
Okay.
But to make matters even more dire or more interesting, was the second wife was 18 years old and she was part of his choir. We're going to share with you some of the pictures from I'm imagining from this story, but it's very interesting. So he's about 63.
The pastor?
Yeah, but he married the girl who was 18 years of age. And this is his second wife.
Okay.
And she was part of his choir. And
what is the first wife saying?
That is a very good question. What does the first wife have to say with this? So anyways, he's actually he calls himself an apostle. So he's called, yeah. The church is located in Ikoto, Akabang, Iko. Oh, these names are really interesting.
Just so what you can say.
So yes, in the local government area of Akwa, this is in Nigeria. And yeah, the wedding took place in 2000 and of course this year, but back in October. This was last month. And it's very, very interesting. So 18 years and 63.
To me, I would say this is not something new. Only what makes it unique, it's a pastor or a
marrying off a second wife.
Marrying off a second wife. But the story being new, it's not new in our ears. This is happening in the communities, especially in African communities. I've seen such examples in communities. We have also seen various pastors divorcing their wives. Yeah, yet we all know that when you get married, it's still till death do you apart.
That is true.
But due to certain circumstances, they also try to. We have seen the likes of Bijingo, but they have also come on and given their explanations what to do. But now for him, he went. What the difference with him that he married a second wife?
Second wife, who is I'm assuming much younger than his first wife.
You know, when you look at the pastors, they are like we look up to them. They're like our mentors, we look up to them, but with all what is happening around, there are some things you don't want to borrow from them. There are some things you even don't want to, especially when it comes to marriage. There are those who You just want even now. For example, I'll give you an example here in Uganda. We have the marriage of Pastor Manjeli, where also how she's falling apart, and now she's giving in actually for the divorce. Not only how we have seen various pastors here where their marriages don't go easy. We believe they're also because the spiritual leaders, we shouldn't forget they're also humans. They face the challenges we also face. The only difference that once it hits their side, we take it up to them, and since they're on the limelight, and in case it goes wrong with hit, and you're like, we are supposed to look up to them, why didn't you a live example? But we shouldn't forget they're also humans, and these things happen. But now such stories, even if they're not leaders, they happen.
That is true.
What sounds most if maybe they are leaders, especially if it's a spiritual leader.
Yes, spiritual leaders should uphold the values of the religion and at least follow their core values. But while we're still on the topic of pastors, we come back here to Uganda, in Mbale, where our very own took on a madman trying to chase away spirits from him. We have a video that we're going to share with you so that you can also look at it and have, you know, a look and give some opinion about this. Now, the most interesting thing is, you know when most of the time we are in our churches or whatsoever, they pray for you, and at one point you fall on your own. But in this very instance, so we in Uganda here we have street pastors. I call them street pastors.
Those who preach the gospel all over the streets.
Yes.
I don't believe you can pass a street minus seeing at least a street pastor.
Exactly. But in Mbale, one of these street pastors took on a madman, tried praying for him, and they ended up in a wrestling kind of instance. Yeah, Brenda has called it kung fu. But yes, we have a clip that we're going to play for you here on Behold Africa. Here is the clip.
Worship with God. Yes, Jesus is ruling in Bali. God is doing new things in Bali. Oh, Ribaba Sataya Babaya. Roko Sababa. Thank you, Jesus. We worship you, God. Yes, Jesus is ruling in Bali. Right now, demons are leaving people. Oh, power in the streets of Bali. He's again down. They are praying for him in the city. He's blessed with demons. The whole city is being...
Yes, as you have seen there in the clip, the instant is just very, very interesting.
I would say this gentleman has another another talent he didn't know. Maybe he's another wrestler.
Yes, but you can see that surprise in the madman's face, like, hey, did that just happen? Like,
but I like the way he acted calm.
Yeah.
Because usually these mad, as you know, they are mad. They don't take that for you. Even if when you're preaching, there are those who provoke you. They just even approach and they're like, "What are you telling us?" Even if you're not even preaching, there are those random people who just want to stone you and everything. But I'll look at maybe it was the power of God taking control over that. Taking control with this mad God to act so calm and leave him to do whatever he was doing and not to create any conflict or fight between them. But also the pastor who was praying for that madman, we appreciate your good deal, because at least he's trying to bring us all to God and also trying to pray for him so that whatever is happening to be delivered out of the situation. But also the skill, we upload your skill that you use, the wrestling skill that is really, also other pastors should learn that in case you're faced with such a situation, you know how to hold your followers and all how you just take them down. And also as you're praying, let the Holy Spirit do his job, but also you take in your physical
but that's what was happening. That's what was happening in the pastor's section and here and there. We leave Uganda and head to Ghana, where there is another story that is happening over there, where an online she's an Instagram model who goes by the name Chelly, went to a restaurant. We're going to be sharing some pictures of her. She's an Instagram model, very, very beautiful lady. But she was spotted at a restaurant, stuffing some chicken into a purse, where you go and eat your chicken, you pay for it, of course, but you don't manage to finish it and decide, you know what?
You pack.
Let me take it home. But there's a better way of packing. Like, you can't just wrap it in a napkin and stuff it in your bag. You can ask for them to actually wrap it for you as takeaway.
Who says that is a bad way of packing?
Hey, she's a model. Like, what impression are you putting? You know, it's like how you and I would go out or something like that. And
talking about packing, I even forgot something at home. I forgot a cake at home. I packed it and used to bring here at work. Now you're talking about packing. Now that mean it will also only be me packing for you things here.
Well, it doesn't matter. It really matters how you're packing whatever you're packing, especially if you're a face of something. Yeah, like you can't be spotted stuffing a piece of chicken into your purse. Not even bag, but purse. You know, your money purse. Yeah, and that's what
and
happened.
all over a celebrity.
Exactly, an online model. So you know your face is known everywhere. So she's very known for her shape. Yeah.
Well, that hot model as you're seeing on your screen.
Exactly.
She packed a piece of chicken.
Yes, her intentions were, of course, she was stuffed at that very moment. She had eaten enough of the chicken and wanted, you know what, let me carry this piece of chicken and I'll eat it in my own free time, probably when I get home. Let us play for you the clip that was, that was filmed while she was at a restaurant with a friend, of which the friend asks her, hey, why are you packing the chicken? And she goes like, you know what, I'm going to eat it from home. But here is a clip for you.
Explain to her what he does to explain to her. Explain. He didn't hear you. Explain that.
And yes, you can see she had a lot of giggling. It's at the same time, at one time it's funny, but kind of embarrassing at one point and all that. You know, there's a time
I would say, as you're going to tell me, the issue is all the talk of the day, all the talk of this story is not that she packed what she had left, because we all understand that you can eat something and you have those leftovers, but you want to take them back home, which is understandable. But the packaging, the way she packaged it, and all how she is with all her honor as the model on on Instagram and all how we know her, packing it in such a way, it makes an alarm. But isn't that a stunt?
Not sure if it's
I believe she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I believe she doesn't even care. It's you guys who are worrying about it and you're talking about, but for her, I think it's not news to her.
That is true, as Brenda has said. But yes, those are some of the stories that are trending on social media, and these are the things that we'll bring to you here on Behold Africa, because I can assure you there's nowhere you're going to get these stories, because we source them for you from destinations and known. But with that, we dive into the last part of this section of trending stories, which is our trailer. Now, for those of you who have been waiting for the movie trailer, today's movie trailer is called Luca. It is an animation, and as I told you before, animations are usually rated PG-13. And you can watch it with your family, your young ones, your siblings, your cousins, your nephews, and so much more. So yes, here is a trailer of Luca as you enjoy with me.
That was hard to watch. You, coming?
We do not go anywhere near the surface. Got it?
Everything good is above the surface. Walking. Air! The sky, clouds, the sun. Whoa, don't look at it. Just kidding. Definitely look at it.
Hey, little hands!
Someone got lucky today,
Hey, leave them alone! Hop on.
Go start a club for losers.
My name is Julia Marcavaldo. We underdogs have to look out for each other.
What's under the dogs?
This is my dad.
What do you think he kills with those?
Anything that swims.
Your life is so much cooler than mine. There's a million things you think you can't do.
All you need is a chance to try.
Something's fishy with you two.
This is too dangerous. They'll see us.
I know your problem. You got a Bruno in your head.
A Bruno.
Say, Silenzio Bruno.
Silencio Bruno.
Louder. Silenzio Bruno.
Silencio Bruno.
Silenzio Bruno.
Silencio Bruno.
Can you still hear him?
Nope, just you.
Good. Now hang on.
Silencio Bruno.
What's wrong?
The trailer for you, the trailer is called Luca. The movie is called Luca, and for us we bring for you just the trailer. The movie is out and you can catch it anytime you would like online, or probably buy a disc for yourself or something like that. But that has been the section of trending stories. When we get back from the short break, we go into the top world stories. Do not go anywhere because we have a lot more for you in stock. Let's go into a short break.
Mbere nisoma sinyathiri then kwizire COVID-19 wasitopingamu kwonka balitaho omusomo gw'okwegyera ahasimu kugwizire nafunaho ekitongole nakita UTC media kiine ebikwegyese kale ekyo ekitongole kyegyesa eminyeeto kiine engyeri ekikukwegisamu kiiwe nk'omuntu then waheza nofunamu ekiwaaba noyenda kukora mbwenu kanye oyine ekirooto ky'okuba omunamahurire then kanye then twasitokire okwega aza kukifunamu okwo nabo nibaasa kunyongerayo kufunako ekirooto kyangye then nimpabura abazaire bitu okutogorera amasimu ga smartphone then nyo kanye Diana kuri mbentine smartphone mbenda kuza kufuna ekyo kitongole then kumperize nimpabura abazaire okugurira abaana data smartphone then kweyongerayo ha birooto byabo then nanye ebyo nibyo nambinire.
My name is Gita William. Engeri gye tuli mu COVID tetusobola ku accessing amasomero ade bataddewo ekitongole website yaffe eya UTC media batukubiriza abazadde basindika abaana baabwe basobola okufolowinga ku platform zaffe nga Twitter, Facebook, IG developinga minds zaabwe various technical activities such as abaana basobola oyiga website designing, graphic designing n'ebirala nga tebagenze kusomero naye nga baliyigidde waka. Tukubiriza abazadde bagulira abaana baabwe data bagezeeko okukola okusubscribinga n'okufollowinga UTC media bajja laba nga abaana bafuna ekintu obudulaze okusomera.
That short commercial break, we appreciate. I won't stop appreciating you for those who still just put on your data and you're like, I can't miss the show. Behold Africa, it's ongoing, and good enough we shifted it to your favorite time, which you all asked for. That is from 7 to at least 8:30. That is early enough for those who maybe have not slept for work, or maybe you need to catch it early. We gave it to you there. So it starts from 7 to 8:30, and from Monday to Friday we are here on Behold Africa Youth Media that is bringing you the show, and we are calling upon you, please, as you're watching the show, share the link for those who don't know about it, and to also follow the program. Now, don't forget, this is still Behold Africa. Behold Africa is brought to you by the Fundamental Human Rights and Protection, and we tell you that for those who need genuine spare parts for your motorbike, you are looking there, and where can you get them? Well, Chiemba Spare Parts is telling you, go to him, he'll help you on that. And he is located on Kasana, opposite Namagwa Police Road, and you can get them on their road, on their telecom, on their contact, which is 077 9489 836. Other line, which is 0755 76550. Well, you can't ask or you can't look anywhere that I'm looking for maybe a joining spare part. No, he got your back. Now, this section that we usually get in, it's called the top world storage. For those who are wondering what is it, it's all the top world. We have three sections, all three segments. We have the what's happening in Africa, the news updates in Africa, the news in the newspapers and everything. Then we go into the trending stories. What is happening on social media? What is running? You know those the clips that are running there and then, and today's, I believe everybody was happy with what in the trending story. You had something at least to laugh about. Now in the top world story, we bring what is happening all over the European countries, the Asian countries, across. We are not limited by borders. Now in the top world stories today, we have what is called, we know COVID it has hit us, and we are looking forward for it to at least wipe away completely. However much we are aware that in the European countries, they are still facing a challenge that the numbers have emerged more highly instead of them reducing, and the governments have also taken action on the restrictions, maybe to put various lockdowns and everything. But now a new challenge we have, that another COVID-19, I'm going to read you what is the name of another COVID case or another COVID type has emerged.
A variant.
Yeah. And this actually, the scaring part about this is it's actually worse than what we had.
Yeah.
Now this is known as the B11529 variant that is happening, and this was reported by the UK experts.
Yeah.
They managed to get this by one of the travelers whom they tested, and they found this kind of variant. But they say, or they call us and they say, be on the alert, it's not something you have even seen before. It's worse.
Now, this new variant, of course, they say the new variant is able to evade immunity. So we have been, getting immunity boosters and so much more. And it is said that the new variant, the B11529, is able to evade immunity. Now, this means no matter how strong your immune system is, you're going to have a challenge if you're infected by the new COVID variant. Now, this new variant of COVID was discovered in Botswana amongst three cases that the healthy government authorities in Botswana were able to source. At the same time, they gave out a report and said it is extremely able to evade immunity. No matter how immune your system is, you're going to have a challenge fighting against this new variant. So the chances of amongst 10 people, almost 7 of them will pass on if they're infected with this new variant, which is very, very scary.
You know what it means by 7?
Numbers. Yes.
7 out of 10. That means if you are among the 3, you will be lucky, and that is something you cannot debate on. That maybe, but I believe there is also a way we can always protect ourselves. There are always ways out, I would say. No matter how it will be hard in the beginning. I'll give you an example of COVID-19 when it came. People were wondering, how do we avoid it? How do you protect ourselves out of it? Like, how do you contract it and all that? But later on with new development, later on you got, because if you touch various surface, open surfaces and all that, you touch your soft parts, That is how you can get it. The only way to avoid it is if you wash your hands, you social distance. So I believe with also this, doctors or experts or science will emerge with various ways on how we can protect ourselves on it, or at least to mitigate it and not to on a wider scale to spread.
No, that is true. And still on that note, as of 24th of November 2020, the reports that came out that only 10 cases have been confirmed so far from 3 countries. Now, of course, as I said earlier, the first 3 cases were spotted in Botswana, where the 3 cases were, they came in for a checkup and they discovered, they were infected by COVID. By running some tests, they confirmed that they were having a different variant of COVID. The other 2 countries included South Africa and one in Hong Kong. This person was traveling from South Africa and was discovered in Hong Kong. But yes, this new variant is very scary, but at the same time we are glad that the medical practitioners, the CDCs of around the world are working tremendously to find a solution to solving all of this, and putting COVID behind us. You have seen new vaccines coming out here and there. Speaking of vaccines, how far is our vaccine here in Uganda, the Nalobali vaccine?
Well, what I know, people I have seen various people going for vaccine to go vaccinated. At least the alarm has been made. There are those who are like, oh, it reminds me when they brought in the issue of the national IDs, remember? And government called everybody to go to get at least a national ID. There are those reluctant people who became reluctant. There are those reluctant cases where people they said no, it's not necessary. But look at them now. They are still actually, even up to now, there are those striving at least to get the national ID, but they have failed. That is how important it is that sometimes you need. Now you never know, because now if the wildlife organization, the health organization came and at least they saying it should be a mandatory for every country to individual to get vaccinated. Who are you? What if a day comes and you can't move out of your house without that card? When you're not vaccinated, at least go and be vaccinated. So we just call an alarm to everybody to go to get vaccinated.
That is true. But moving away from COVID, we come back into the celebrity world, where we lost our famous. We have a famous TV presenter who has been hospitalized. He has been hospitalized as of yesterday. Brenda has the story that she's going to cover for us and in full details.
Well, he's known as Richard Medley. Yeah, Richard Medley. He's a TV host and a TV presenter, and he's a celebrity known all over. Well, actually, what happened, he was on shoot and he got a problem and he had to be rushed to the hospital. But you know how some people are. There are those people, when you take them to the hospital, after they rise up, they're like, what am I doing here?
Exactly.
That is what he also said. What am I doing here, actually? When he gained his conscience and we're like, what am I doing here? Get me out of it. And he said, I'm a celebrity. I'm not supposed to be here.
Well, that is also actually the show that he covers. It's also called I Am a Celebrity. And yes, yesterday during one of his shoots, he collapsed on set. And he has no recollection or memory on what happened. But he wanted to leave the hospital, but they couldn't allow him because, of course, his state was not yet known.
Yeah.
But yes, we are hoping and praying that he recovers safely and gets back to shooting, his shows and letting the world enjoy more in the entertainment section.
Well, we leave that to, as you have told, we wish him a quick recovery and everything. Now, going into other news, yesterday I covered about the news of the migrants who got drowned on the boat, and at least 27 people lost their lives, and the various people who were missing. We also gave a report that the children also were involved in this. We also lost women in this. Now, there has been a spur between, I would say, France and also Britain, where they're looking at the illegal migrants, which is happening. And we also say that, because not only yesterday the officials, they say they're looking at least to fight, because this comes about because of these people who do the human trafficking. they take people, they smuggle, I would say they smuggle people into other areas, and in the process they don't even mind how loading they are, how off it may be overload, you're loading like the ship and everything, they don't care. So their main aim is like they're looking for these people who do the trafficking of the people, who smuggle them to the other area. Now this comes in, and that's why Britain and France, the spy arose, and they're looking at the illegal migrants who are arising. And at least because we say 27 is quite a number.
Yes, 27 is a very big number. And what Brenda is telling you guys is Britain and France, of course, we covered this story yesterday and told you the boat capsized in a canal that connects France and Britain. And in the process, you know, the two countries are now asking themselves, okay, who is to be blamed? Is it British or is it France to take the blame? But at the same time, they're trying to come up with the measures on how to avoid any further instances like this very one. And one of the measures that they came out and spoke about was deploying more Coast Guard patrols and sea patrols. And how is this going to help? This is going to help by reducing the number of boats that are coming in that are unidentified, and at the same time, those that are not identified, they are at least, you know, patrolled or escorted to somewhere where they can be inspected and whoever is on board. And I think this is a very good idea, and it should be implemented as soon as possible if we are to avoid any more losses of lives, because there are two instances where this is going to help. You know, if they're to deploy more Coast Guards, more Coast Guard patrols, that means the ships or the boats shall not be able to disembark from wherever they are docked, because we know very well if you're crossing a sea, you have to disembark from somewhere offshore. You can't just start the journey from the middle of the sea. So it means if there are Coast Guard patrols, it's going to be very, very hard for these ships to take on the journey to sea from, let's say, from Britain crossing over to France. If the Coast Patrol Guards are on the British border, they're not going to be able to leave that place because, you know, one way they will be spotted or arrested or something like that. But at the same time, we have the on-sea patrols. So yes, a ship or two might be able to break free or disembark from Britain or France, but at the same time, they will be spotted by the on-sea patrols. That means, as I said before, it means they will either be escorted safely to a nearby landing site or something like that, and the boat or ship inspected, and whoever is on board, then they can take it from there and see what to do with them.
Now that is the story that is happening there, and we leave it to that. Now we go into Australia. That is also, Australia has also been the talk. It has imagined all our news that we have been covering, because it's one of the European countries that are facing high numbers of COVID cases. Now, the issue that is arising there in Australia, they're going to read to you where the Australia deploys forces to the Solomon Islands as protesters ban the city town. Well, we shall share a video of that, which is really happening, because when you look at how it's great, and this happened amidst the protest, or the lockdown is happening there, and people are protesting, and this has come in the second day of the protest. But people are not minding that, even defining the lockdown. You know, when you have a lockdown, but if you're you don't have the lockdown, people go out the streets, they start burning tires, they do whatever they do, they don't even care.
They banned several buildings, including the parliamentary building of Solomon Islands. Now, of course, there's been a dispute between Solomon Islands and Australia, where the Solomon Islands say Australia should not involve itself in internal affairs of the Solomon Islands. But at the same time, you know, Solomon Islands is a very small state, and they have a lot of issues that they have to combat. Now, at the moment, they are in a lockdown due to the pandemic, of course, which is Corona, and they say they are tired of the lockdown, because it has also been one of the longest lockdowns in the area. We have a video that we're going to play for you during this protest that happened yesterday. And what happened, so many buildings were burnt down, including the parliamentary building of the Solomon Islands. Here is a clip for you. Yes, as you have seen in the clip there, so many people took on the streets and were burning tires, and at the same time setting a blaze of buildings. But this comes at the same time where other protests are going on. We're looking at like the protests in Belarus, in Belgium, and so many more. So many countries are coming out to protest against the measures that are being put up by the government, and at the same time, you know, the government is also trying to take a lot of precautions to actually disembowel of these protests and find a way of, you know, calming down the public and so many others. But isn't there like a better way? Are the protests the only way?
Well, that is a question I would also pose out to the public and everybody watching us live here in Kampala, because sometimes if you know you do protest, but there are that time when you also go overboard, you go extreme. Now look at, but you are burning buildings at the same time. You need money to put them back, reconstruct them. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, when they say you wash and you dry in the mud. Yeah, that is what you're doing. However much you're unsatisfied at whatever level, look at how the other ways you can express your protest, how you are not satisfied on whatever. So I believe it also goes back to everybody who is involved in this. Also, the government should also sit down and find various ways to negotiate. Well, when you look at the story, the police came in and they say they're going to deal with everybody. At least they're deploying more policemen to avoid more properties being destroyed. Yeah. But you can never give a guarantee, because you never know the extreme mile how far these people, who knows, next time they will be killing themselves. So I would say that government should take action and also find various ways on how to bring about peace in the community and also in the area. However much, you know, you're fighting COVID-19, now you're fighting also the protests and all that, so it's really a struggle. But that marks the end of this show. Behold Africa, and the top world stories that we usually bring for you in our last segment. But usually before we end the last segment, we bring you the African proverb. Now in our African proverb, not only we bring a story or a proverb that you can at least pick something for the day to go with. Sometimes you need that motivation. So you know, there are those talks that you forget, but when somebody brings it up and you're like, oh, this is good, like I had forgotten about this. But now, as we're going to bring you the African proverb, don't forget, for those who need the roller shutters, you need windows, you need maybe water drillers, for anything that you're constructing a building, please go to God's Grace Metalworks. They're telling you to go to them, and they're located on Mukasa Sentema Chiseka Wakiso, and you can get them on their line, which is 078 1315 998, another line which is 075 9377 206. Well, Jude has an African proverb to share, but as a sharing, don't forget, for those who are watching, you're still on Behold Africa, but don't forget that we don't only bring you this show. We have a great team that brings you, it covers the show, and what you see on the screen, there are those people in the background that bring you all those bulletins.
Yes, and I want to thank you, our dear viewers. Thank you for keeping it locked on Behold Africa. Thank you for keeping it locked on Youth Media. Today's African proverb says, when a handshake passes the elbow, it becomes another thing. When a handshake passes the elbow, it becomes another thing. What does this translate to, or what does this mean? It means, be mindful when unfamiliar people become too acquainted. Be mindful when unfamiliar people become too acquainted. One reason is you never know someone's motive, you never know someone's intentions, especially if you are not familiar with them. You have met someone for 2 days and they're already walking, you know, with hands around your shoulders. So be mindful with unfamiliar people being too acquainted with you, because you never know someone's ulterior motive.
Because they face their goodness. You know, there are those people who have the first impression that they fake, just because they are aiming something to get something out of you. So as the African proverb is saying, we bring it to you and it's up to you, either put it into action or you leave it on the screens and you leave it in words. It has to stick in your ears, because you never know when you need it, and this is a day-to-day talkie that you need to go with. So we leave that to you.
once again, I want to thank you, our dear viewers, some of our dedicated viewers. I'm going to give a shout out to some of you. Estose Shin, thank you for keeping it locked on Behold Africa. Rolina Ocean, I appreciate your remarks. Fiona, thank you for keeping it locked on Behold Africa. But as for today, this wraps up the show Behold Africa, and it is a weekend, so do not expect us to see us on Behold Africa over the weekend, but be sure to see us on Monday, same time, 7 a.m. So you wake up, you know, prepare yourself, as we also prepare yourself to bring you the horoscopes through the weekend. So don't worry, we shall cover the weekend for you, but as for now, go out and enjoy it and have fun. Bring us more stories from whatever you have done, and we shall see you on Monday. I have been your host, Jude Clean, and my co-host, Nabshao Brenda. See you next week. Bye bye.